A monster storm has descended upon the eastern United States, unleashing its fury on over 110 million Americans. From the deep south to the northeast, a trail of destruction unfolds, leaving chaos and fear in its wake. This is a storm of historic proportions, a stark reminder of nature's raw power. The National Weather Service warns of a multifaceted threat, with heavy rain, flash floods, powerful winds, ice, and snow all in play. Millions are under weather alerts, bracing for the worst as the storm continues its destructive march. The situation is dire, with reports of widespread flooding, power outages, and hazardous travel conditions pouring in. Emergency services are stretched thin, battling against time and the elements to provide aid to those in need. This is a developing story, and the full extent of the damage remains to be seen. The southern states are bearing the brunt of the storm's fury, with catastrophic flooding reported in Kentucky and Tennessee. Days of relentless rainfall have transformed rivers and streams into raging torrents, swallowing homes, businesses, and entire communities. Kentucky has been particularly hard hit, with Governor Andy Beshear declaring a state of emergency. The town of Jackson finds itself underwater, with a nursing home and a hospital forced to evacuate their patients as floodwaters surged. Heartbreakingly, 8 lives have been lost, including a young child, and over 1,000 water rescues have been performed. Tennessee is also grappling with the devastating impacts of the floods, with over 50 nursing home residents evacuated in Macon County. In Clarksville, nearly 8 inches of rain transformed streets into rivers, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The situation remains critical, with emergency crews working tirelessly to reach those stranded by the rising waters. As if the floods weren't enough, the storm has plunged millions into darkness, with widespread power outages reported across multiple states. Over 300,000 customers in Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, and Virginia are without power, their lives thrown into disarray. Georgia has been particularly hard hit, with over 215,000 outages reported. The loss of power adds another layer of misery to the already dire situation, as families struggle to cope with the cold, the dark, and the uncertainty of when their lights will come back on. Utility companies are working around the clock to restore power, but the damage is extensive, and it could be days or even weeks before normalcy is restored. In the meantime, residents are urged to conserve power, check on their neighbors, and heed the advice of local authorities. While the South grapples with floods and power outages, the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are bracing for a different kind of onslaught: heavy snow, sleet, and treacherous ice. Winter storm warnings are in effect, with up to a foot of snow possible in some areas. Travel is expected to be hazardous, if not impossible, with roads transformed into slippery death traps. Schools and businesses are closed, and residents are urged to stay home and ride out the storm. Meanwhile, a new threat emerges in the southeast: tornadoes. The storm system is spawning twisters, particularly in Georgia, putting millions at risk. The National Weather Service is issuing tornado warnings, urging residents to take shelter immediately when sirens sound. This storm is far from over, and the nation watches with bated breath, hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.